This is Thomas Hofer.
That is not what happened.
These women feel that you them. They went to look at a room and you.
That is not what happened. It was 8 counts of assault, of which was completely 100% consensual.
He was arrested on 8 counts of assault. Thomas lived in Sydney, Australia, where he worked as a real estate agent. The method with which Thomas lured these women in was shockingly thought out. He often advertised properties on a popular sharehouse website. The nature of his job allowed him to execute his devious plans.
It was October 2014 when Hoffa lured his victims to a bar here in Glebe in the city's inner west. On the ruse, they'd be inspecting a room to rent in the neighbourhood.
Whenever a female client showed interest in the house he advertised, he would take them to a bar as a treat and ply them with alcohol. When they were sufficiently drunk, Thomas would then take the unsuspecting victim back to the property for them to check the house. His first victim was a 23-year-old American tourist who reported the case to the police in the morning. That night, Thomas assaulted a 17-year-old girl using the same method.
Surely the fact that you plied the women with alcohol would constitute that they weren't able to give you their consent.
They were not plied with alcohol. They were quite tipsy. They were moderately intoxicated. They were not substantially
They were there
intoxicated.
to look at a room and you.
He was arrested later that day and charged to court. During his trial in 2016, the American lady recounted how he kept buying her alcohol and would remove glasses of water from her hand when she tried to sober up. Thomas was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. He was paroled after a few years. During a confronting interview, the ex-house agent insisted that he was innocent.
I'm 100% innocent of what happened.
It was unclear what his thinking was, but he maintained that he couldn't have the 17-year-old because the age of consent was 16. He refused to apologize to his victims and denied getting them drunk, claiming they were only slightly intoxicated. He even tried to appeal his conviction, but the High Court of Australia threw the case out. A few weeks after the interview, he reoffended using the same method. His parole was revoked, and he was sent back to jail.
They're traumatised. I mean, one of them contemplated suicide as a result of this.
Well, I attempted suicide in jail because I was unable to prove my innocence.
Thomas Fuller is our first example of a criminal showing no remorse. But wait until you hear about Robert Shelby. This is Robert Shelby. Shelby is in Multnomah County Circuit Court. 2 women. In November 2015, Shelby attacked his first victim, a woman struggling with homelessness. The details of his attack are chilling, to say the least.
Months ago, a jury convicted Shelby for the brutal attacks on 2 women. The first happening just before Christmas 2015. The woman was kidnapped and bitten. The woman only escaping the next morning out of a bathroom window.
The court heard that Shelby the woman, bit and threatened her anytime she made to leave or fight back. In fact, the bite marks were still visible